let's get an update on two very important pieces for the Cowboys ahead of this matchup with Arizona.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that, when you were looking at what was going to happen with Tyron Smith all week long, it was, well, especially last week, it was about getting ready. It wasn't so much about getting ready for the football team. It was about getting ready, though, for this Arizona game. They felt like if they could buy him another week, things were progressing along pretty well. And then if he could continue to work and make progress, then they were going to play him. It was never about the football team. It was always going to be about Arizona. And so they got, I feel like they've got that, and talking to people, they feel like they've got that kind of taken care of. And then with Tony Pollard's always going to be in a situation where he's going to be, we always talked about the Romo Wednesdays or stuff like that, where, a player would sit out practice and then practice a couple of days and play. They have a plan. They've used this plan now for the third week with Tony Pollard. They feel like they got a good plan as far as the way they're able to rest him and then get him ready to play. So, you're going to have those two guys available this week. And, for this will be the first time you have your offensive line all together. And I think that's the thing that we've all kind of been looking forward to seeing with this group, of them getting able to play together and see if they can kind of hold it together in order to get this thing into the playoffs where they need to be.
And you're going up against a group that, they've lost 3 straight, but in the entirety of their 2021 season, Arizona has been the number 1 NFL road team. They are 7-1 this year on the road. So Cowboys at 5-2 at home. It's been a group that you would hope that, and honestly, at left tackle, it's always more important that you're getting Tyron Smith back. But I think that's more now about Tyron Smith than it is about the hole that's left there. Would you agree with that? Because I don't think that we can look at Terrence Steele anymore and be like, man, that's just that's a Olay that we have out there, that anybody like a turnstile that's going to be able to come back and get the Dak. When Terrence Steele, I think, has been really the glue of this offensive line, and being put, Nick Eatman talking about this morning with Sean and Kevin Gray about he's been put everywhere in there, and he's been able to keep this line solidified while some have been out.
To be honest with you, Will, I don't think that you look at Terrence Steele, and it's been fortunate that they've been able to kind of work around some of his stuff. But I don't think they feel like that he's a real swing tackle, and I don't feel like they feel like that Ty Nsekhe is a real swing tackle as well. And that's why they're struggling right now, I think, with trying to kind of figure out how to do this the right way, is because they, coming into the season, everybody said, oh, well, Ty Nsekhe is going to be your guy. I think at swing, I think that they don't see that right now. They kind of see that he's better at left tackle, and they're trying to try and help Terrence Steele, who they know is not better at left tackle. So, they're doing what they have to do in order to make this work. I kind of felt like that maybe during the break, you were going to see them even, talking to some people that they were going to practice, with Connor Williams when he was not as a starter. They were looking at him as a possibly, could that be your swing tackle guy? So, in visiting with folks, I just don't feel like that they're super, super confident that they really have a swing tackle on this roster. They have a couple of guys that can play tackle. One plays better at left tackle. The other plays better at right. They got 2 guys that are playing really as that one swing tackle on this roster.
So in looking ahead to the offseason, that's something that they are going to want to address this year then, whether it be in the draft or by picking somebody up to get you need to have. That's something that you go into a season that you've got to have addressed, and that's having a swing tackle, because things happen.
Oh, no, absolutely. You're going to need a guy. I mean, offensive linemen need to be able to play a couple of different positions. And in this case, the Cowboys kind of felt like going in that they had a couple of guys that potentially could be swing tackles. And then the more they worked them, they said, hey, this is not going to work. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it might come down to, hey, we're going to have Terrence Steele play on the right side, and we'll use Ty Nsekhe on the left side. Or, they've got, Josh Ball, who they drafted, who's now back to practicing. He was primarily a left tackle at Marshall. So we'll see. Maybe they could find a way with him getting more size, more strength. Maybe that's the guy that becomes your swing tackle there.
Now, Brian, we talked a lot yesterday about historically how this team looks in the context of the greatest teams or the best teams in the last 25 years with the Cowboys. One of the things that we actually did not get to was, although they're balanced on offense in certain areas and now defense, and I think that's been the big surprise coming into this year, and just one area, and that is actually at the running back position. Now, we've talked a lot about Tony Pollard and the foot and the problems that he's had there injury-wise, and then, of course, Zeke's knee. Well, Tony Pollard needs 2 scrimmage yards to reach 1,000 this season. Zeke's already there. So with that, it would be the first Cowboys running back tandem to reach 1,000 scrimmage yards in the same season since Tony Dorsett and Herschel Walker back in 1986. How about that?
No, that's, all along you kind of felt like that Tony Pollard, even though the struggles they've had on the offensive line, Tony Pollard has found a way to make some things happen. And, he's just a tremendous player. I mean, an explosive player. He's got, and people don't give him enough credit for how tough he really is. I know there's a lot of people out there that say, oh, you can't hand him the ball. He's going to get beat up. He's going to get hurt. He doesn't take big hits. Sometimes these small, quick guys kind of have an idea of how to get down quick or avoid taking those big shots. And I think Tony Pollard's that way. His hands are exceptional. Memphis has done a great job in the last several years of developing running backs that catch the ball well. They've changed coaching staffs there a couple of times. But, man, I'll tell you, their development of running backs for the pros has been outstanding because their running backs not only run with purpose, the way they catch the ball in the flat or on the outside or in space has also been super impressive as well.
And when we take a look at what the team does in the red zone, particularly at home, they have had their own issues, right, as far as coming away with field goals instead of points, and sometimes not even always field goals. But when we look at the Cowboys at home, there's nobody better in the red zone offensively at home at 83%. And having Tyron Smith back and a healthy Tony Pollard is a big reason why, if they are to have the success to continue that the last couple weeks and then going into the playoffs, that's what the team needs. I mean, I know a lot of Tolos will hit us up and Cowboys fans about how, well, it's Washington and they're garbage. Yeah, well, it's the Giants and they were garbage. Yet you know ahead of you that in the playoffs you're going to be facing some pretty good teams. And having those guys back right now, and then again, Mike McCarthy earlier saying, there's no additions to the COVID list with how rampant it's being spread throughout the rest of the NFL. This is a team getting healthier going into the playoffs, and maybe the biggest element as to why we may be more optimistic.
No, you're absolutely right. And that's, the most important thing is about the healthier team going forward. The healthiest teams are the ones that tend to find a way to win these games down the stretch. And just remember, those injury reports and stuff like that towards the playoffs. Everybody wants to be a part of a playoff game. Nobody wants to be the guy that's sitting on the sidelines watching. If you can play with the aches and pains and bumps and bruises and maybe some things that aren't exactly perfect, then you're going to get out there and play because you want to be a part of something like this. At the end of you kind of look at it like, okay, I've carried it this far. If we get to the end of the season, after the season, I could get this fixed. So you have a lot of guys that are just willing to put everything on the line in order to try and finish this thing out.